Hello and welcome to Always Elite. Today we're going to review AEW Dynamite, Thursday Night Dynamite at that. That happened on August 27th, 2020. Starts right off with a tag team gauntlet match where the winner gets a shot at the AEW Tag Team Championships at All Out. First teams to start are the Natural Nightmares and the Young Bucks. It's fast and furious right from the start. Goes back and forth for most of this match. Dustin hits a huge Canadian destroyer to gain the advantage for his team. Young Bucks hit the BTE trigger and wins the first match of the gauntlet. Next team out is the Best Friends. Young Bucks look spent here. Trent beats on Matt Jackson early. Trent eats a huge German suplex on the apron. Paige comes out and holds Nick Jackson's legs, which allows Best Friends to roll up Matt Jackson for the win. So it's FTR versus Best Friends for a shot at the AEW Tag Team Championships. FTR is working on Chucky's knee, which he hurt earlier versus the Young Bucks. The ref botches a pin attempt on Dax. The referee called a tag on Cash, but then waits to do a count on Dax, nullifying the tag. But Dax makes Chucky tap out, so FTR will face Paige and Omega at All Out for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. Next up, Darby Allin is talking about Ricky Starks, says he's not afraid of him. And he says if that doesn't convince him, watch this. Then Lance Archer. It's Lance Archer versus Sean Maluda. Archer just completely destroys Sean in about 3 minutes. A blackout and an EBD claw pin. Then Jake Roberts talks about the Casino Battle Royale at All Out. Says Lance will beat 20 other men to win. But Cage, Starks, and Taz come out. Taz says either Starks or Cage are going to win. Taz and Jake argue for a bit. Darby comes down, goes right after Ricky Starks for a little bit of revenge of what happened previously. But Cage and Archer want to go at each other, but they're held back by Taz and Jake. Next, it's the contract signing between MJF and Jon Moxley for All Out for the AEW World title. And if Jon signs it, the Paradigm Shift is banned from their match. MJF signs it immediately, doesn't say a word right away. Then he grabs the microphone, calls Jon a coward, calls Jon sharp as a marble, which I thought was brilliant. Says on September 5th, Moxley is in danger because MJF is a pro wrestling prodigy and Jon is not. Says at the end of All Out, he will be champ. Jon then responds and says he wants to drop MJF on his head, but he can hurt him in other ways. Jon does sign, says MJF's a dead man. Jon says he added something to the contract. He added a match for next week with MJF's lawyer. And if he does not show up, MJF does not get his title shot at All Out. Which I think is pretty sneaky. Then it's an 8-man tag. It's the Lucha Brothers and the Butcher and the Blade with Eddie Kingston versus Joey Janela, Brian Pillman Jr., Griff Garrison, and Sonny Kiss. Butcher and Blade up early. Doesn't last long, though. Sonny Kiss beats up on the Blade. Pentagon package pile driver to Joey on the apron, which looked pretty sick. In the end, an assisted hanging DDT on Pillman Jr. Pentagon pins Pillman for the win. Next, Dark Order comes out with a coffin. That's really weird. Even Uno talks about Cody. Says the coffin is closed on the Nightmare family. Out comes Mr. Brody Lee with his title. Calls Tony over for an interview. Says Cody will never get this title back. It says the newest member is Anna Jay. It says none will take this title from him. Dustin and QT come out for retribution for their brother. Scorpio Sky also comes out, but the Dark Order takes care of all of them. Matt Cardona comes out and helps out everybody else to clear the ring of the Dark Order. So I guess we're going to get an 8-man tag next week. Then the Young Bucks in the back ask Paige why he cost them the match. Paige doesn't say anything. Young Bucks go on to say that he's a jobber and that he's no longer part of the Elite. Paige just looks at himself through in the glass on the door and wonders what he did. Then it's Penelope Ford and Britt Baker and Rebel versus Big Swole. Of course, Britt Baker's not ready. She's still in her wheelchair, but she's on the ramp. Penelope beats on Swole and tags in Rebel. And then Kip gets involved. Swole takes him out. After Rebel hits Penelope with Britt's crutch, Swole rolls her up for the win. So Big Swole will get Britt Baker in a match of her choosing at All Out. Then it's the main event. It's Matt Hardy versus Sammy Guevara in a tables match. Starts off in a brawl in the ring, goes to the outside, and surprisingly, Sammy is beating up on Matt in Matt's own territory. Sammy goes for a dive on Matt on the table, but misses and puts himself through the table, and Sammy looks like he got busted open. Matt hits a twist of fate on a chair. Then Matt decides to bring a table into the ring. On the table is written delete or deleted, which I think is funny. But Sammy suplexes Matt through the table and wins the match. Right after the match, Orange Cassidy jumps Jericho, who was on commentary all night, and he is very good at commentary. If you have not heard him before, he's amazing. They just beat the crap out of each other as Dynamite goes off the air. Let me know in the comments what you thought of the show. I'll be back with you this coming weekend to open another mystery box. So until then, always be elite.